Thanks for jumping on our webinar. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. I'm going to start off by muting everybody's mics, but during the Q&A, feel free to unmute and ask any questions. And I'm Savannah Waller with LocknCharge, and I'm going to kick us off by introducing our presenters today. We have Katie Short, who's a senior territory manager with LocknCharge. And then we have Bob Ladouceur, who's an Edtech and audiovisual teacher at Ogdensburg City School District. And with that, I will turn it over to Katie.
Sorry, I unmute myself. Thanks for joining today's webinar. We're going to deep dive into our FUYL Tower Smart Lockers cloud-based workflows. So on today's call, what we're going to do is we're going to play a 4-minute video that kind of goes over the tower itself and how you can automate your current workflows. And then after, we will talk with Bob to see how he's implemented his towers and discuss how he's helping automate his workflows. And then at the end, like Savannah did say, we will do a Q&A. So please, you can either ask questions in the chat if you think of them, but at the end, we'll definitely unmute your mics and you can ask live. So right now, we will play that video.
Physical device management just got a whole lot easier. FUYL Tower Smart Lockers and LocknCharge Cloud enable organizations to automate broken device exchanges, shared device checkouts, and loaner device programs to save time and money. Let's take a quick look at what our cloud has to offer. Administrators with cloud access can view and manage any number of towers from one centralized web-based portal. When first logging into the cloud, you'll see the dashboard, which offers an organized view of stations tailored to your workflow. Administrators can identify towers based on station location, workflow, or intended user. For example, this tower is located in a middle school, and the devices inside are designated for student and substitute loaners. The dashboard is arranged in a parent-child hierarchy so that all towers under a parent node will inherit the same settings. For example, this parent node is set up for a break-fix workflow, so towers added in this node will automatically be set up for device swaps. These cascading features make tower deployment, management, and scalability more efficient. Next, let's take a look at users. Administrators can take advantage of our built-in user directory by creating individual users or bulk uploading user data through our provided templates. You can also simplify roster management by integrating any LDAP-compatible directory or using our native integration to Google's directory services. Admins can also create user groups to manage users more efficiently, such as by grade levels or departments, and to authorize large sets of users to specific towers, nodes, or bays. Once a user or group is created, admins can pre-authorize regular device checkouts or grant access at a moment's notice. The cloud provides thorough accountability by tracking bay reservations, door access, breaches, or multiple failed PIN attempts in the event log. Knowing who opened a bay and when it was opened reduces device breakage, loss, and theft. The reporting feature allows you to look up existing reservations in real time or view statistics such as station usage. An example of using this data could be seeing a station with low usage and moving it to a higher traffic area to maximize your investment. The cloud's easy-to-use open API can take automation to the next level by allowing organizations to connect their own applications. It also enables integrations with existing systems, such as a help desk ticketing platform for seamless end-to-end device management. And webhooks It can trigger actions to automate downstream workflow, like sending custom messages through your enterprise communication platform. And lastly, we take data integrity, physical and network security, and resiliency very seriously. Our facilities, processes, and systems are reliable and robust, offering peace of mind that your organization is protected. For more information about LocknCharge Cloud or to schedule a personalized demo, please reach out to us today. We're here to make your life easier.
Awesome. So now that you can kind of see how you can potentially automate your workflows with the tower and the cloud, we wanted to bring on Bob to discuss how he's deploying or how he's deployed his FUYL towers. So Bob, thank you so much for being the man of the hour. And I wanted to specifically ask you, how did you go about hearing about our FUYL towers?
Well, it was really out of necessity and panic at the onslaught of COVID and all of that. We were planning a rollout, a slow rollout of using these at the get-go before that. So we had talked specifically about using the Joey carts was our initial foray into all of this. And so that really got us started. And then we started talking about how we could better manage our devices, and better managing our devices. Everything, the initial push was for charging, obviously, because our kids are notoriously forgetting their power cords at home, losing them, sharing them with a friend, and not finding them. And we needed to have a place for them to quickly charge them. And we're happy to find out on the back end that these allowed us a variety of other pieces as well. So our initial jump in was for charging purposes solely.
Okay. And so public charging, and then obviously with COVID, since COVID, how is it now in terms of evolve? Like, how are you using the towers outside of just the public charging piece? What other type of workflows are you using?
We're using it for our substitutes right now to assign devices for them. So substitutes can pick up a Chromebook wherever they happen to be. We have 14 towers spread out across our middle school, high school campus. So they are strategically placed in high traffic areas. So for our substitutes, they utilize the tower that is closest to our office, which is where they have to sign in every morning. So it's convenient for them when they're signing in to simply log in and grab a device for the day. We give them access on that device to our cloud so that they can access substitute plans and all of that directly off of that device. So we bring them for training and all of that stuff, and then they walk away with a Chromebook in a case, protected and ready to go.
And so are you using RFID badges to assign those, or do they have like their own unique PIN?
They have a unique PIN that we assign. All of our teachers, students, staff, they all have a unique PIN. It's their employee ID. Students have their student IDs. That's what they use to do that. My staff here uses the RFD to scan into the towers, and that's how we use it. And when I say my staff, I'm talking about my student staff. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And so you currently now are set up with some towers utilizing public charging, as well as it sounds like a loaner environment for those substitutes. Are you utilizing the towers at all for break fix, or do you have plans for any of that, for any of the broken devices you see in the district to utilize that workflow?
We will put devices in a tower for students to pick up if a device is broken. But they typically rate at this point, and we're working towards that. Long story short, our inventory system is non-existent. Katie's been a great help at getting us started and possibly getting that taken care of. So that's one of my goals moving forward. So we do use the towers to put in a device that is going to go out to a student,
Mm-hmm.
but currently they turn in their devices to be repaired here because we
Okay.
have to manually ticket them through BOCES.
Awesome.
So that's how we do all of our ticketing right at the moment. So they have to come to my office. Oftentimes I'm not here, but students are here to quickly do a quick write-up on, the best technology ever that's going to be doing
Lost
the ticket,
it.
and then we write the ticket from there. I know, very antiquated, but um, it's getting us through. But yes, they drop it off, and then they know at a certain time that they can pick those up. We
Yeah.
usually have set times, and I'm really looking forward to further automating this, because right now we have set times of 11:30 pickups and then 2:30 pickups right now for towers, and they can pick them up at the tower of their choice.
Got it. And then in terms of like the students, when they grab the device, do they have like their own unique PIN? Are they using their student ID numbers, or how do you have that set up? Okay.
They're using their student IDs for access to the towers.
And then is that information pushed through Active Directory, like an integration through? Okay.
We
Awesome.
integrate directly through Active Directory. It's really, really helpful because, when they were first out in the hallway, everybody was curious about them.
Mhm.
Before we actually had them live and functioning, we had big signs on them that said, "Do not touch." Well, that's like a first invitation, right? To just go up and
Yeah.
push some buttons, right? And check things out. But the kids, it's great because I can manage on the back end when I go in and look. My day is spent running around from one building to the next, and my students do some work on this, but I will go in and check it on a regular basis. My students will go in and check it and just make sure that they're not being abused. We found that kids will often type in their code and close the door so it looks like something's in there, but it's not. So I can determine who has done that,
Mhm.
touch base with them, and get them. They're like, "How did you know?" I said, "It's magic."
In the
It's magic.
cloud, you can see everything. Do you
That's right.
ever
You can see it all.
utilize, you ever utilize the cloud portal? Like, so you said you're not physically at the towers, that you do ever use the cloud to see, because like, behind me, you can see there's different colors. You obviously know that this door is ajar. Do you ever use the cloud because you can see what's happening at the physical tower, but not when you're even located near it, that you can actually see, oh, the bay is open. I need to either call someone to shut that door. Or do you ever use it for that at all?
It's my favorite piece, and it really is. And I find myself. It's just so easy to use. The cloud is so easy to use. I can quickly go in and I can hit that tower. We've labeled them appropriately. It was great seeing the video and like, oh, hey, we labeled them pretty much the same way.
Oh.
It's very obvious that we know where they are. And, like I said, we have them in high traffic areas, or what we thought were high traffic areas, but it's just great to be able to take a quick look and go, all right, everything's good. We had one student actually fall into one of the doors and actually knock it and jammed it and actually broke one of the corners. But you guys were able to send me the piece to quickly
Oh,
fix
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That was awesome. And you can see those things live when you get on. You can see that it's been breached or that it's open, all of that stuff. So it's just really nice to be able to, and it tells you the date that it was signed out. A lot of times at the beginning, we weren't checking the cloud as frequently as we possibly should. So when we went in, we were noticing that somebody had signed this out 2 weeks ago. Well, there's no way in the world that there's still a device in that spot at that point, because I would have heard about it, right? Somebody's missing a Chromebook. So, we were able to reset that. My students are great at checking on a daily basis. They've learned the system. The system is extremely easy to use.
Awesome.
And the color coding is perfect because you literally just glance down the screen and you're like, okay, that one's in breach, that one's open. Those are all open and ready for students to be able to use. These are the ones that are currently being used.
And you mentioned so that your students and staff are utilizing the towers. Did they find it easy? Like, was that an easy implementation, or was there a learning curve of like how to use the towers?
They will tell me, my students will tell you. I have 7 students that work with me on a daily basis as my part of my AV class. So long story short, they come down during their study hall periods. It basically fills my day with a student here at some point during the day. So they will tell you that they teach me things. So we'll leave it at that. But no, it was very, very easy for them to learn the system and all of that. So they were thrilled. Once I gave them the cards to scan in, they were like, "Mr. Ladouceur, this is like totally for you because we already have the pins memorized." But
Yeah.
it just works. The system works really well for us. It's easy to handle, and I'm just going to say this: one of the reasons that we have stayed with LocknCharge is because of the customer service. So, and they did not pay me to say that. So
no, we didn't. We
so,
didn't.
I mean, seriously, that is one of the biggest things. So
that's great to hear. Yeah, they're amazing. They get back right away. Like you said, they will send replacement parts, or if they have to send a replacement unit, our support team is really, really great. So I will definitely relay the message to them for sure. I think that kind of covers everything. The only other thing that I was going to ask is, like, would you recommend this to your colleagues? And I mean, you kind of already covered that. And it has it, like, since, from the start, I know you purchased it during the pandemic. I know it's kind of changed how you're using it. Has it changed with how you're, like, how things have changed going back to school? Like, are you able to, okay, awesome. That's kind of more or less, like, I wanted to make sure it's doing everything that you've always intended to do and then more.
Yeah, we've evolved. We really have. It worked well for what we intended it to be initially, and it was a great bonus to know that it can do so much more than just charge devices. So being able to manage that, students know that when they are needing a device that's repaired, they know where they can go to pick up their replacement device. Substitutes are loving it because they've always felt out of the loop. And now that they don't have to worry about signing into a teacher's desktop computer. They know when they step into the building that they're getting their device. They know where they're going. They've had training by me on how to access it. A lot of them were paranoid at first. They're like, "Oh, I have to get out of the tower." Like, how? I said, "Trust me, it's easy." We went down and I showed them. They were like, "Yeah, we could have done this ourselves." So
good.
It's just that easy. The other thing that I want to point out too is we house all of our. Do I have one right here? I do. All of our Chromebooks are in cases that look like this. They're not thin. And we had a few bumps in the road initially. Students learned very quickly that they can't keep their own charger in the pouch in the front because it pops it up a little too much. But that case that the Chromebook is in fits very nicely inside of the tower.
Oh,
so,
good to know. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was a big thing for us too. So, and all of our towers have an additional cord in there. I just want to say this too. One of the great things about this is we've discovered at different times that cords have been missing from that, but because of the inventory system and being able to look up who used what and when, we're able to retrieve those.
Awesome.
And it's kind of fun to look on the kid's face when they're like, okay.
How did you know?
Like, how'd you know?
It's all cloud. Yes, yes, I can see everything. Awesome.
Yeah, just made our lives very easy.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any more questions that I have for you, but I would love to open it up now for the Q&A for the last 10 minutes. So if anyone has some questions, this is a great time to ask. I'm not sure. I'm going to check the chat to see if anyone has asked any questions.
I got a question. This is Sylvia in Scotia Glenville. On how you guys assign the lockers or the bays to each individual. So do the students obviously enter their student ID pin into any bay and pick a Chromebook, or are specific bays assigned with that student ID?
Any bay. Well, for charging purposes, students can access any bay. Okay. We have some bays that are specifically assigned for devices that are being for a replacement device. so they know the towers that they can access those in.
Okay,
Each tower basically has one or two, and then they're told which one that they can access those repaired.
gotcha. And that's a separate PIN or code from their student ID?
It's their student ID for those bays, but they're specifically allotted for those bays only.
Gotcha, gotcha. So how do you track if any student can access those loaner bays or replacement bays, how do you know which student is just based on the PIN?
Yes.
Yep.
It actually
Gotcha.
shows their name. Their name comes up as having
Okay.
access to that bay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that's because of our integration with AD.
Yep. Got it. Thank you.
Yep, you're
Yeah,
welcome.
and you are able to assign just like a specific bay to an individual or all the bays because it's a first come, first serve. So if they input their PIN and shut the door, it's going to reserve for that individual until they bring that device back. So it creates a reservation. So no
Right.
other one can get into that bay until they bring that device back. Does that make
Thanks,
sense?
Katie, for saying that. That's actually a good point. So Sylvie, when we assign somebody, when we put a replacement device in that bay, it is only person who can access it is that student.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I also want to say too that one of our towers that we thought was going to be in a high access area, the reports that you received to show the traffic on the towers is awesome. So we've already determined probably within right up through December that we're moving one of our towers, and it's actually going to be moved during our April break. And we actually sent a survey out to our students of where they would like it placed. So that's actually getting placed in a better location where they'll use it more often.
It's awesome to hear. And then one thing that I know you kind of brought up when we were talking is the integration with ticketing systems and asset management systems. So there is the ability to do that. So we partner with Incident IQ and Learn21 one-to-one manager. So you can fully automate the process. So if a student were to submit a ticket, the ticket actually would push to the tower and see if there's an available bay. And then it will push like an email back to the student saying, hey, go to bay number 3, put your broken device in and exchange it for a loaner, and it's going to track that asset within the system. So there is the ability to fully automate the process. I know right now, Bob, you don't have like an asset management system, but if you ever wanted to go down that road, there are integrations to make it fully automated. So I wanted to be able to tell you guys that as well.
And Katie's hooking me up with that right now. So I am very excited.
I am. So
like I can't.
That's
That's our next big step. I can't wait for that.
To fully automate the whole process so that you don't have to track it down with Post-its. It will all be in one place. You don't even have to jump into our cloud.
It's no more.
Let's get rid of Post-its, people. Let's say goodbye forever.
Yeah.
I
can't afford them because the district doesn't pay.
I have a couple questions.
Buy them for me, so.
Sorry.
Yes. I just had a couple of questions. How many kids do you guys have K-12? And it sounded like you said you had 14 towers between the middle and high schools.
Yes, we only have towers at our middle and high school right now. Everybody else in our elementary schools are in LocknCharge Joey carts. So they are individualized into their rooms. So they have a place where they can charge them at any point during the day.
How many kids? I'm just trying to get a feel for the scale.
Total in our district is 1,500 students.
Okay, so 1,500
So, but
K-12.
the 14 towers that we're servicing service our middle and high school right now with a total of 650 students.
And I guess the other question, or one of my other questions is, when you said you had them distributed in high use areas, what kind of areas are you talking? Are we talking corners of hallways? Are we talking common areas like libraries, a little bit of everything? And I'm just thinking forward to, depending on the district,
Sure.
I could see hallways being a great spot, but sometimes facilities, they don't like anything in the hall, so.
Right. 4 of our towers are in our 2 cafeterias, and those are probably our most highly used towers. We have 2 towers that are directly in front of our office. 1 tower is utilized for substitutes. The other one is for charging purposes for students. The other towers are spread out in hallways across the building, strategically placed in wings. We have all of our teachers arranged by what subject area they teach. So we try to have at least one tower in each of those subject areas. And probably our second most used tower beyond the cafeterias are the ones that is the one that is by our chorus and band room. That one gets a lot of traffic. Matter of fact, to the point where we may put another one in there.
I have another question.
Sure.
Maybe not specific for you, but maybe more for Katie.
Mhm.
You talked about some integration with ticketing and asset management systems. A lot of the districts, mine included in this area, use one-to-one plus. I didn't know if there were any plans in the future to open up integrations, and if that's on the horizon, or if that's already something in the works, or something
Yeah.
that's already there and I missed it in the presentation.
Nope. You did not. Yes, the answer is we are actually already in talks with One-to-One Manager Plus. So that is on the roadmap for sure. We don't have it yet, but that is definitely one that we are trying to work with to create an integration. And then one thing also to note is, even though we might not integrate with specific ticketing systems, there is an open API. So we do have districts that do some coding with their current system, whether it's like using Slack for sign out of broken device, or even with Google spreadsheets, that you have the ability, if you can, to create your own little integration. But in terms of the partners, currently it is just Learn21's One-to-One Manager and Incident IQ, but we do have plans to open it up to as many integrations as we can.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then that actually is kind of a nice segue as well, is everyone has the opportunity to test the FUYL tower out if interested. We do ship demo units for a 30-day free trial. We ship there and back. So you just keep the box and packaging, so you can send it back and it won't break. But it's actually our 5-bay, which is behind me, because the 15-bay is a little too big for us to ship, and it never comes back alive. But everyone has the ability to test it out with their current workflows. I know a lot of times now is a really good time for planning for next year. So for whatever reason, if anyone is interested, you can just shoot me an email and we can get that process started. Any other questions? Those are good ones.
Yeah, and I'll post Katie's email in the chat here so everybody has it. If you have any follow-up questions, so you can get in touch with her.
I'll throw this last one out there, Bob. So these are pretty, since everyone's a little quiet today. So these are pretty big towers, right? They're 15 bays, they're about 5.5 feet tall. So just can you just as far as the installation and getting them up and running, how easy was it for you guys? And just
It was extremely easy. We have a great crew here. Our electrician and our BOCES techs were great in getting lines run for. We tried to be because they plug into the wall. So if you have plugins in your hallways or in your cafeteria, wherever in your library, strategically place them to where we tried to strategically place them to where there was already a plug. But our electrician and stuff here is so great at just doing whatever we ask. They'll drop a line and do whatever we need to, but that's literally it. It was dropping an electrical line, making sure that there was a connection so that we could hook to our system, and we were ready to go. It was extremely easy.
Gotcha. It was a leading question because these are they come fully assembled. So they just take them out of the box and just plug in, right?
Yeah, plug and play. That was it.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, if that is that, I will get you guys back to your day. Thank you guys all for joining. I know Savannah just added my contact information. If anyone is interested in testing this unit out or need any additional information, I'm happy to help. But thank you also, Bob, for jumping on and being such a great sport. And please let us know if there's any way we can help you. And that's all I have for today.
Thanks. Thanks for inviting me. I'm glad I was able to do it.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye.